Thank you very much. Thank all of you for being here. You have wonderful families, and thanks for their recognition and patience. I'm very pleased to be here. In 2018, I had the honor of introducing former Commissioner Christine Wilson. She's a resident of West Virginia for her nomination. And both she and former Commissioner Noah Phillips resigned their positions before their 7-year terms were up. In it, she wrote a very well-publicized letter that she felt that the leadership had disregard for the rule of law and due process, and brought some questions about bipartisanship, and you've heard a lot of questions about this, and you all addressed this in your opening statements. Mr. Ferguson said consumer protection and competition are not partisan issues. So for each one of you, just quickly, because I do have one other question I want to get to, it's important to me, how are we going to get back to that and not keep generating very partisan 3-2 positions coming out of the commission? And Ms. Holyoak, we'll start with you. Holyoak.
Thank you. Like Mr. Ferguson, I've worked on some antitrust and consumer protection actions within the state of Utah as Solicitor General, and I have found that those actions, those investigations and matters are the most bipartisan. It is where these are issues that affect Americans' everyday lives, and everyone cares about them, and we want to work together on this. I have met, just previously, I've had the opportunity to meet with Commissioner Slaughter, with Commissioner Bedoya, and Chair Khan, and I do believe that we will work together, well together. I don't think we'll agree on everything, but I think we will find consensus on many, many issues.
Mr. Ferguson?
Thank you, Senator Capito. We're going to have disagreements, of course. This is how Congress has disagreements, the Supreme Court has disagreements. That's okay. Disagreeing often sharpens and improves outcomes. Justice Scalia and Justice Ginsburg used to say about each other all the time that their dissents made their majorities better. I think that's good. But I think it's important for a bipartisan agency like the FTC that the process is free of gamesmanship and that there's transparency in the process. And I can only speak for myself, but if I were confirmed, I would do everything I could, even in cases where I disagree, for all of us to work together on the process and improve the outcome, whatever that outcome ends up being.
Ms. Slaughter?
Yeah, I agree with both Solicitor General Holyoak and Ferguson, and the only thing I can add to what I think they articulated very well is that I also think personal relationships matter, and making the effort to get to know your colleagues, find common ground with them personally as well as professionally is worthwhile. I was really privileged to get to know Commissioner Wilson during her time here and at the FTC, and I learned a lot from her and really continue to value that relationship. So that's something I really try to invest myself in.
Thank you. Ms. Slaughter, I'm going to address this question to you since you've been on the commission, and you kind of went into the ballpark when you said personal relationships. What is the FTC's policy on workers being in the office physically?
I believe our current policy requires workers to have 2 days, at least 2 days in person per pay period.
So that's 2 days every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Do you all set that policy at the commission, or is that set, do you have to okay that policy?
The commission itself doesn't vote on the policy. Those policies are set by the chair's office in coordination with central federal government OPM rules and regulations.
Okay, so we have a commission here who, according to Senator Cruz's letter of June 19, 2023, he cites a study that says that in 2020, 87% of FTC employees believe the agency's leaders maintained high standard of honesty and integrity. Now it's just 44%. So, or 44% have said that they have a high level of respect for senior leaders. That's an erosion of pretty substantial half. It's half of the employees. In my view, this is government-wide, but we're talking FTC right here. You talk about the importance of personal relationships. You talk about mentoring and all the way and the value of the decisions that are rendered by the staff. Yet, you have a commission that only has people coming in 2 days out of every 2 weeks. I understand Zoom and all that. We've all done all that. But that does not replace the inner workings of really developing these good relationships. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I think you're pointing to a really important tension that not only the FTC, but the rest of the federal government, and frankly, all of the workplace is grappling with, which is the tension between people's desire for flexibility, not spending hours commuting, and more ability to get their work done with the benefit of in-person engagement. And I know that this is something the private sector is grappling with too. I will tell you, I take the results of the FEV survey extremely seriously, and I've really worked hard to talk to staff and get a sense from them of what do they think is working, not working, where do they see the need for improvement. And I'll be really honest that I have not heard from any of our staff a desire to be required to go into the office more. Many of them.
That's pretty, I mean, I could
Sure.
get that one.
But I think what's in 100%, and that's the tension that I talked about a little bit, but I think it's important for us to listen, to not make assumptions about what is driving staff views and to listen to them and understand them. And then I think we need to continue to apply corrective action and in an iterative way to see what's working. But I am really eager for not just us, but the entirety of the workforce to figure out a better way to maintain a sense of community while also maintaining flexibility. And I'll just add that this is something I grapple with every day. I come into the office more frequently than every 2 weeks, but I'll admit that every morning when I'm trying to get up and leave my house, it's hard for me to do that. I'm juggling my children, I'm dealing with other things.
Yeah,
and then once I get to the office, I'm really glad to be there with my colleagues. So I experience it personally, and I think about it from a management perspective as well as a personal one.
These issues are so huge. And the morale of a workplace really has great impacts on not just what kind of decisions you can come to, but how you can get to the transparency and bipartisanship that you all express a great desire for. And so I agree, everybody's grappling with this, but you see news every single day where the private sector is saying, you got to come to work. Thank you.